Guys, so excited to connect with you for day 4. We're talking about inspired action. So we've been breaking down some of the key principles in this book, the Master Key System, and it is a phenomenal book. But the first one that we talked about earlier this week was all about just setting the stage. Like as you look at what you are creating in the world, if you are going to set the stage, you want to start visualizing, you want to start expecting, you want to start committing with earnest desire. So those are some of the principles that we've talked about. Is how do you really dive into creating magic in your life? And a big piece of it is obviously the vision, the direction, the confident expectations, and then the earnest desire. But today we're going to talk about inspired action. This is where momentum builds because you are taking thoughtful, considerate, powerful, dynamic actions towards where you want to go, what you want to create in your life, and the action shows to the world that you are committed. So I want you guys to share some of the elements of where you're taking inspired action. The inspired action also shows that this decision, remember the root word of to decide is to cut off. So when you make a powerful decision that flows into inspired action, guess what, man, your energy shifts, your power shifts, your magnetism, your desire, all those things elevate, and it's a beautiful thing. So what does inspired action look like? Okay, let's break that down for a second, since this is the fourth and final pillar of this 4-day journey that I want to take you guys on. What I want you guys to also share is let me know what type of inspired action you're taking. I want to celebrate it, and I want to cheer that on, and I want us to celebrate each other's inspired action. You take, and then when others take inspired action, you celebrate as well, because that inspires you to take more inspired action, right? Don't sit back in jealousy or anything like that. Let me put that in here. Action you're taking this week. And if you're watching this on replay or live, would love to hear from you as well. What are your inspired actions that you're taking? So guys, some of the things I'm taking, right? I've got a book coming out. That's finally coming out in potentially, I'd say 60 days. We're working on the cover. So however long that takes, that will delay the timing, I'm sure. But got several great mastermind retreats coming up. I cannot wait for my one next week. Another inspired action. We're getting our baby room together. My wife's taking more of the inspired action on planning and prepping for that. But I'm taking action in other ways. What else? Other elements of inspired action. I'm doing a big scarcity to abundance challenge next month with my friends Natasha Grano and Travis Believes. That will, fingers crossed, will reach thousands of people. So I cannot wait for that. That's going to be a ton of fun. So here's how inspired action should look. It should be something that's aligned, something that's number one. So inspired action, it's something that's aligned with who you are, what you're creating in the world, what your product offers, etc. Number two, you should not hide. You should just own your greatness of your product, your service, whatever it is, claim it. Too many of us, myself included, we've demeaned and talked ourselves down for how great we can actually be and what our products or how our services might truly help someone. The third thing, inspired action is decisive. It is not hesitant. It owns the decision you're going in, right? So inspired action is decisive. It's committed. It's all in, right? I talked to my friend Nim last week. I was on her TV show for ABC, an ABC affiliate in Phoenix. And as we talked, we broke down, talked about some of the things she's all in on. And when you go all in, guess what? You show up differently. And go all in, whether it's one or many. Like there's not thousands of people watching on this training today, but guess what? I have thousands of people that will be watching in May when I do a bigger thing. But I want to go all in right now because it's practice. What you do in private and how you show up in private is also typically how you'll show up in public. All right. So go all in whatever you're creating in the world. All right. Last piece I would say for inspired action is, as you're creating inspired action, continue to speak and create into your action what you want to create. Like visualize, see the fruition of what you want to experience come together, moving it forward. Like, and when you run up against an obstacle, then take an inspired action in a different direction. Go over, around, through, bust through it, whatever it is, right? Inspired action, if you hit a roadblock, then figure out, all right, what's the inspired action in a different way? Pivot, pivot, pivot. It doesn't mean you keep going back to the same brick wall and hitting your head on the same brick wall. That won't be smart inspired action, okay? But I'd love to know what other inspired actions you're making. And sometimes the inspired action means parting with money. Sometimes it means parting with time. Sometimes it means owning up to a mistake, whatever it is, guys. So I want to dare you, live with greater inspired action today. That is the end of our sessions on this week. But one of my commitments was to do 10 lives over the next month. And so this is live number 4, and I got 6 more to do before May the 5th. So anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents. Much love. Have a beautiful day.